Today I want to share with you, Rabbatai, a beautiful machshava, a beautiful thought from the Heilige Chafetz Chaim, and then a quick story at the end. Whoever still didn't start learning the Chafetz Chaim Daily Companion after listening to this series for such a long time, please email me, Yaakov Rahimi at gmail.com. We will ship you a free Sefer Be'ezrat Hashem Bli Neder, a free Daily Companion. If you're ready to take it upon yourself to learn the Sefer at least once, email me, Yaakov Rahimi at gmail.com. Says the Chafetz Chaim, Hine be'emet, achiyuv lishmoa koach hadiur kol ish miYisrael. Every single Jew has a chiyuv, has an obligation to watch their mouth. Why? Says the Chafetz Chaim. Lo rak zoche beze le'atzmo. Not only when we don't speak Lashon Hara, we bring merit, we bring bracha, we bring blessings, zichuyot upon ourselves. Af zoche beze. Listen to the words of the Chafetz Chaim. Af zoche bezeh, you also merit, when you don't speak Lashon Hara, lechol dorotah, for generations to come, habayim acharav, that come after the person. Meaning, says the Chafetz Chaim, when one doesn't speak Lashon Hara, not only that you bring bracha upon yourself, you bring zichuyot upon yourself, when you control yourself not to speak Lashon Hara, it will bring zichuyot, lechol dorotah, habayim acharav, it's going to bring zichuyot for generations, are going to come out of you, b'siyata d'shmaya. And he says, like I'll say, Uma Adam HaRishon, just like Adam HaRishon, Shelo nitztava, Hashem only commanded him not to do one thing. Ella al mitzvah achas, Hashem gave one mitzvah to Adam HaRishon, one commandment. And if he would have kept it, Himayam Shamra, if the Adam HaRishon would have listened and not eaten from the Eitz Hadas, that one commandment that Hashem gave him, not to eat from Eitz Hadas, if Adam HaRishon would have listened, says the Chafetz Chaim, Ayaz zoche lo v'ledorotav abayim acharav, him and the generations afterwards, which is us, would have merited to have a tikkun, the whole world would have been fixed. Al achat kama v'kama, and again we're talking about the level of Adam HaRishon, but Chazal tell us that if Adam HaRishon would have listened to the one commandment Hashem gave him, not to eat from the Eitz Hadas, the world would have been mitukan, the world would have been a perfect place, the world would have been fixed, and for generations to come, to this day to us, because we all come from Adam HaRishon, our lives, our world would have been a whole different place. Says the Chafetz Chaim, and I'm reading you his words because I don't want to ruin it, and it's so powerful, and it's the Chafetz Chaim saying this, listen carefully. Al achat kama v'kama, how much more so? If a person would control his mouth, how much zichuyot, if Hashem commanded us not to speak Lashon Hara, and we control our mouth, how much zichuyot does it give us? Al achat kama v'kama, how much more so? Zochel dorotav abayim, generations afterwards. Kashekovesh tamid et koach diburo, when you always constantly, kovesh means when you overcome, meaning you know how to close your mouth, you struggle with it, but you're kovesh, you take down the Yetzer Hara. The word kovesh means to take down, to control, et tamid, all the time, et koach diburo, the power of speech, when a person controls themselves. And you know how to be careful. Shum dibur neged retzon Hashem yitbarach. You're always careful not to take anything out of your mouth that's against Hashem's will. Bevadai, this is the words of the Chafetz Chaim. Bevadai, for sure. Zoche bezeh, you will merit. Lechol dorotah, for all your generations to come. Habayim acharav. These are the words of the Chafetz Chaim. If Adam HaRishon, Hashem gave him one commandment, and if he would have listened to that tzivoy, the world forever would have been mitukan, would have been mushlam, would have been a much better world. But unfortunately, Adam HaRishon, in his level, fell to this mistake of the Chet Adam HaRishon. It's a very deep concept, by the way. The Ramchal has more than one parak discussing this concept of Adam HaRishon. But Chazal tell us if Adam HaRishon would have listened to one tzivoy, generations to come, which is us, would have been a whole different place. It would have been mitukan, it would have been fixed, it would have been much better. Says the Chafetz Chaim, how much more so if each one of us control our mouth not to speak Lashon Hara, and we listen to that tzivoy of Hashem, how much more so is zichuyot, is merits, is Hashem going to give not only us, but our generations to come. If Hashem give only one tzivah to Adam HaRishon, if he would have listened, it would have fixed the whole world forever. Then how much more so when Hashem gives us many tzivuyim not to speak to use our mouth with a negative thing, and we control ourselves constantly. And those who control themselves, how much more so is Hashem going to give zichuyot to them and their children afterwards? So Rabbatai, what we learn from him is a tremendous thing. Take it to heart. When we have a test, when we have a nisayon, whether to speak negative about a person or not, when we have a test coming in our way that we're about to speak Lashon Hara, remind yourself, not only is it not worth it because we don't want to go against Hashem chas v'shalom, it is not worth it because now we have an opportunity to give ourselves beracha if we control our mouth, and not only to give ourselves a beracha, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. The Chafetz Chaim over here is saying, Bevadai, for sure, we're going to be zochet to have berechat to our generations to come. So next time a test comes your way, have in mind, visionize, have this vision in front of you of the future of your grandchildren, your grand-grandchildren, your children, how much berecha. Of course it's worth it. It's always worth it. Anytime a person controls himself, the fact that you're listening to Tzivur Hashem, whether there's reward or punishment, doesn't matter. The fact that we're listening to the Tzivur Hashem is always worth it. It's our zechut to follow the mitzvahs. But over here the Chafetz Chaim is adding, those who control their mouth, not only would you get beracha, you're also going to get beracha for your children and your grandchildren. Rabbatai, we really should make this into some bumper sticker or into a t-shirt or put it on our fridge on a magnet. When those who control their mouth, you bring beracha not only for yourself, but for your children, grandchildren, and grandchildren for generations to come. And this is the Chafetz Chaim saying it, and I'll read you the words again. Bevadai. שזוכה לו ולדורותיו הבאים אחריו עד סוף כל הדורות כשכובש תמיד את כוח דיבורו. בוודאי, the word בוודאי means for sure. The Chafetz Chaim over here is giving us a guarantee. Those who constantly control their mouth, you will get bracha for yourself and your children and your grandchildren. Rabotai, let's start trying to control our mouth as much as possible. One of the ways to work in this, says the Chafetz Chaim, is to learn the Sefer Chafetz Chaim Shmirat Lashon every single day. Because no one wants to speak Lashon Hara, but we need to be reminded. How do we remind ourselves not to speak Lashon Hara? Sticking to it consistently every single day, learning the Sefer Chafetz Chaim Shmirat Lashon, whether it's in Hebrew, whether it's in English. It will give a tremendous siyata to Shmaya and a reminder. And I'm talking to myself, not to speak Lashon Hara that day. So if you're ready to take upon yourself to learn the Sefer, we're willing to ship you a book for free. Email me, Yaakov Rahimi @gmail.com. Or just go to your local Judaica store and purchase it. It will change your life. And it's an unbelievable investment. It will give berecha to your children and your grandchildren. Rabbatai, I want to share with you two quick stories from Yechezkel Menashe about people that took upon themselves to start learning the Sefer Chafetz Chaim Shmirat Lashon is such tremendous berecha, and I wrote down the stories to be accurate with the details. There was one woman from Muncie who called up Rabbi Yechezkel Menashe, and she told him she tried getting her son into a very good yeshiva, and the principal told her when she went to an interview, when she took her son for a feher to meet the principal in the Rosh Yeshiva, they told her it's very unlikely, not because we don't like you, but there's around 100 kids waiting list trying to get into this yeshiva. But this mother, she told Rabbi Yechezkel Menashe that she really felt that her son is going to succeed in learning and in Zirat Shamayim if he goes to this yeshiva. So she decided she's not going to give up, and she heard the stories of those who learn Chafetz Chaim daily, see Yeshuas, they see salvations of berecha. As soon as she left the principal's office, she said she took upon herself to start learning the Sefer every single day with her husband for the zechut of her son to get into that yeshiva. And then she said she was about to speak a very big Lashon Hara, a very big conversation of Lashon Hara against someone in the mishpucha that's far away, whatever the case was. But she controlled herself because she learned the Sefer every single day. And Rabbatai, listen to this. A week later, meaning she started learning with her husband, then she controlled herself not to speak Lashon Hara. A week later, she got a call from the principal's secretary on the yeshiva that her son was accepted. Rabbatai, 100 people are trying to get into this yeshiva. The principal left her off telling her, listen, nothing against you, we like your son, but there's 100 other people trying to get in, like why should we take your son in? But this mother didn't give up. She controlled herself not to speak Lashon Hara. She started learning the Sefer seriously, and boom, her son got into yeshiva. This is a fresh story, Rabbatai. If you listen to this right now, take upon yourself, don't wait. Take upon yourself to start learning the Sefer daily. You're going to see tremendous berecha in Yeshuas. And what we learned today from the Chafetz Chaim, not only bracha for you, also bracha for your children and your grandchildren, B'ezrat Hashem. Story number 2, a very quick one. Someone called Rabbi Yechezkel Menashe from a Hasidic community in Williamsburg. And we know in the Hasidic community, Baruch Hashem, everybody gets married in an earlier age than other communities. Fairly so, because in the Syrian community, they also get married at a young age. And she told over to Chazke Menashe a very interesting story. She said that her and her sister had daughters in Shidduchim. This Hasidic woman, her and her sister had daughters in Shidduchim for a long time, and it started getting embarrassing and uncomfortable in the community that their daughter was getting older and older, and she wasn't even dating, she wasn't even getting married. Somehow, Rabbi Chazke Menashe's shiur in Baruch Hashem got to Williamsburg, and she heard the stories, and she said that she started learning the Sefer with her sister every single day. So her and her sister started learning Sefer Chafetz Chaim for their children to have zichuyah, B'ezrat Hashem, to get engaged. One of them got engaged at day 40, and the other one got engaged at day 41, which means you have two sisters from Williamsburg who heard the stories of Yeshuas for those who learn Chafetz Chaim, Shmirat Lashon, and they took it upon themselves seriously. The two sisters started learning it together for their daughters to finally get engaged. One daughter got engaged at day 40, and the other one, thank you Hashem, got engaged at day 41. Rabotai, these are tremendous stories. They might sound like they're small stories, but this is an unbelievable Yad Hashem Bigoloi. This is an unbelievable Nes and Hashgacha Pratis, Rabotai. Take upon yourself to start learning the Sefer Chafetz Chaim Daily Companion every single day. If you're ready to start learning, we're willing to send you a book for free. Bli neder, please email me, yaakovrahimi@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by Torah Anytime.